Hi, I'm Kevin O'Connor, co-founder of Lioco Wine Company, and you are watching Understanding Wine with Austin Beeman. I came to wine producing from the sommelier side, and I feel that people that sell wine at that level in restaurants and I think critics as well, that we are the educators. I mean, in retail, people that work in retail are also educators, and I feel that the only way to elevate American wine culture is to elevate the intelligence and the information that's flowed to the American wine drinker. We want people to know about wine. We want people to know how wine is made and what's the difference between a quality wine and a wine that's just not made with a lot of care. And that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the way the wine is priced. So we need to find out about how wines are made. And we should be more curious about that as drinkers. And as people that sell it and talk about it and educate people about it, I think it's our responsibility to let people know about how wines are made and show them the difference. So when we conceived Lioco, we thought the back label of a wine bottle is an opportunity to educate. We're compelled to put a certain amount of information, like the government warning, so we have a legal obligation. So why not take that a little further and just tell as much about what's in that bottle on the back label. The front label tells you what it is, but the back label tells you how you got there. And we give a lot of information because we just want people to be curious, and I want people to go and look up on the internet. And now that we have this fantastic ability to go, I mean, as a sommelier, I didn't have the internet 15 years ago. And I was a better sommelier 5 years ago having that tool, because every wine region in the country is represented on the internet, and every domain has got a website, and it's translatable into the language that I speak, which is English, and teach in, which is English, and it's very exciting. And so now with all this information, there's no reason why educators and critics shouldn't give all this information, and there's no reason why wine drinkers and wine buyers should not be educated and be curious about what they're drinking. And I think that this is a movement that started in the food industry. That's why there's a little thing called ingredients. I welcome that in the wine world, because unfortunately there's a lot of people getting away with putting other things than what they say is in the bottle. And maybe that'll stop one day. So, and we'll really be educated about what we're drinking, or at least informed. But we just feel that the curious wine drinker should be given all the information that he or she needs or wants, and we encourage them to be curious and to find out what they're drinking. I think what will happen is that if our public becomes really educated about wine and how wine is made and how wine is grown, that they're probably going to seek out better and healthier wines for themselves. And that's going to raise the bar for everybody. They're still going to demand that those wines be at a reasonable price, which I think is also good, but they're going to demand better wines. I think that to know about wine and to learn about wine, I encourage everybody to drink and try as many different wines as possible. Unfortunately, most people look at this as a beverage, and most people are creatures of habit, so they're going to probably drink the same thing most of the time. But if you're really curious about wine, you should taste a lot of different varieties, and then if you do that, you're going to have to deal with style at some point. You're going to have to be able to differentiate between this style or that style, and you're going to be able to taste the wine and sort of realize, like, is this all natural acidity, or is this come from a cool climate, or has this acidity been imposed upon this wine? And I think that, the more curious they get, they're going to find out, again, going back to how this wine is made, and they're going to sort of demand to know. And that's going to translate to them, you know, probably saying, I need to know what's in this bottle, and I want to know that this is 100% Pinot Noir. 100%. And of course, if the wine gets tested, it's going to be revealed that it's 100% or not. So we have this technology. I mean, we as wine makers put our wines through a panel all the time to see how stable they are, to see what levels of this or that are in the wine. So, you know, chemistry, biochemistry allows us to identify everything that's in a wine. And it would be really good for people to know what's in there. And to sort of, you know, to sort of clear up all these, you know, perhaps misconceptions about, you know, what are sulfites, what is my problem with wine, because people have allergies to wine that are not simply about sulfites, but they could be about sugar or histamines and all these other things. And there's different types of wine that people might have a problem with. There are people that actually can drink red wine, but they can't drink white wine, and vice versa. There's some people who can't drink sparkling wines for a reason, often pointing to an issue with sugar, since those wines have added sugar, because that's the process that, you know, makes sparkling wine, especially in Champagne. So there's you know, there's all sorts of things that the wine drinker could do and demand that will, you know, get them to a place that they should know what they're drinking. I mean, if I would imagine if, I can't say anything about another beverage, but if people would look at their soft drinks that they drank, and instead of looking at the label and the brand, they really just focused on the fact that it's largely an unnatural product, I wonder if they would drink it as much as they do.